little bit. Of course, Tampa's not too far away. But it is really great to see a crowd like this and to rally around a team in its first game, too. And especially rain is just not going to deter these fans away, which is really exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. They're calling names, and these guys are literally in college, and they're cheering for them like Mike Trout just ran out the center field.
It's exactly right. And
come on, that's awesome.
And like I said, multiple returners, especially in the starting lineup, but a ton of fresh faces. But this Leesburg Lightning crowd will welcome them like they've been playing for 10, even 15-plus seasons for the Lightning. Still some guys not here yet with us, finishing up some college ball. One guy, Cole Bullen, a catcher for the Lightning, goes to University of Florida, and with Luke Heyman, the starting catcher for Florida, going down with an injury, he's now their backup catcher, so here's their second-string guy, so he might see some playing time there in the NCAA tournament for Division I. Florida did take a loss to East Carolina, I do believe, earlier today, but Bullen should get a chance to play at least one game unless they get knocked out.
Yeah, and it's so cool, for these guys. Coach Litch said early on when they first met the team, you never know who your teammates are going to be. You never know who's going to end up being the superstar, who's going to end up going first overall, who's going to be the new name in the MLB, but you also don't know who's going to be the brain surgeons, who's going to be the police officers. You never really know who your teammates are, and that's why summer ball is so important.
Right. So we're just about underway. We'll step aside for the national anthem, and when we come back, it'll be Leesburg Lightning baseball time. Welcome back to Leesburg Lightning Baseball. Wonderful, wonderful national anthem, and Josh Cohn has picked up a pearl and has stepped onto the mound getting ready to warm up, and we're getting ready for some Leesburg Lightning baseball. Once again, this is a rescheduled opening day. Yesterday we got rained out. We were supposed to be in Sanford playing the River Rats at their home stadium. It was supposed to be Lightning River Rats, and that one got rained out. So now we've got all three games going on right now across the league.
Yeah, Vic, weather's such a big factor in this league, especially when we're so condensed to Central Florida. These storms, they come, and when they come, you can't really do anything about them. Whether it's, in the morning, if they're coming at night, sometimes they just kind of pop up on you, and that's sadly just the story of this league.
Yeah, well, I'm from Georgia, which is not far up in Atlanta, but it does not rain like it rains out here. So earlier today when I saw a torrential downpour outside, I was not hopeful, but they do a great job of getting this field together. Michael T., our groundskeeper, along with some other helpers, did a fantastic job of getting the field ready to play today, and it really looks immaculate. You can't even tell that it rained so much today.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the fields are built for this. Everybody knows that it rains in Florida, and they build the fields to that spec. These fields drain perfectly. these fields have probably the best draining, in the nation.
Yeah.
Just because of the amount of rain they get, it would kill the field otherwise. And that goes for football, that goes for baseball, softball, soccer, whatever it is. These sports leagues and the people who run these parks and recs departments are really big on just making sure the field does not get drowned, puddled up. They want to make sure there's no floods going on in right field or, towards the pitcher's mound, because that costs them money at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I previously said Josh Cohn was a right-handed pitcher. He is, in fact, a left-handed pitcher. So we'll see a southpaw on the mound, and we'll see how that fares for the River Rats as they will bring up their first batter of tonight's game. That'll be Cameron King, who will play in center field.
Yeah, Cameron's got a good barrel on him, and he makes consistent contact. We see that a lot through his game film, and we saw that in the batting cages today and yesterday. He's got good opposite field power, too. His timing is really manageable. He can hit a little later and get it out towards right field. And as a righty, just great pull hitter as well.
So the righty will face the lefty, Josh Cohn, who comes set working from the stretch. Here's the pitch. It is just a bit downstairs, and we are underway at Pat Thomas Stadium here in the 2025 Florida League season. Cohn, like I said, working out of the stretch despite no one on base. His second offering is a called strike in there. The first strike for the Leesburg Lightning this season. Playing at first base, Marco Moises, Ledger Pleasant at second, Ryan Jenkins at short, Juan Orozco at third base, Eli Thurman in left, Julian Irizarry in center, and Charlie Keller in right field as that one misses outside. The battery, Nick Wroblewski and Josh Cohn, the starting pitcher for tonight's game.
Yeah, you see that breaking ball there from Cohn just wasn't really working for him, and that's all based on just release point. He's looking at the zone. He's trying to get that to work.
Ground ball out to Jenkins. Tough play in the hole. Strong throw. And that one gets away from Moises at first base. A big backstop means that King will get there with no problem. We'll see how that one is scored. It was a tough play in the hole, but it was a bad throw at first base, so I'm sure it'll be a hit and then an error on the throw.
Yeah, and King was able to leg that one out. As a former first baseman, the hardest thing to do is pick a ball out of the dirt. Yeah. And you see these low balls, you're stretching. You also have a guy coming right at you. It's really hard to manage all that at once, and sometimes you just let it get by.
So a better throw wouldn't have mattered. Well, it would have mattered considering that King would have been at first base, but they wouldn't have gotten the out either way. That will bring up Stuart Puckett, the second baseman. He's a lefty facing the lefty Josh Cohn. First pitch to him, and twists around and misses that one for strike one.
And this is a guy who's eager in the box. He's very aggressive. He's going to swing at a lot of pitches, and he's not going to see a lot just because he's going to either end up on base or, hit into the out. But this is a guy who's really eager to get a hit.
Next one's fouled away by Puckett. That one was a base hit scored for Cameron King, and then an E6 on Ryan Jenkins with the bad throw. Moises did everything he could at first base, but nothing was going to bring that ball back. And a big backstop here for the Lightning. In the first front row of seats, it's about 30 feet, I would say, to home plate. 0-2, and that one hits his helmet.
Yeah, you don't like to see that, Vic. That one is, it's just really hard to see. You don't ever want to see a ball go toward someone's face. Luckily, it hit the helmet, but, too close.
So Cohn nabs Puckett right in the helmet, and he will go down to first base. A hit by pitch, and two are aboard and nobody out for the River Rats, who have a rally.
Headed to the plate for the River Rats will be the third baseman, number 6, Dawson Harmon.
That'll bring up Dawson Harmon, the third baseman. King at second, Puckett now at first base. Cohn was ahead 0-2, trying to go up and in maybe, and just lost the grip of it. Talking about buzz the tower.
Yeah.
That one rang the tower.
Yeah, absolutely. That's hitting the tower.
Cohn takes a look at second. Now the first pitch, nice breaking ball floats in there for a strike.
And look at that lead by King there at second. This is a lot of speed off of him. And, he's very confident on the bases. I think you could see that just from how far. He's almost 6 feet off the bag right there, and the second baseman's covering.
But one misses outside.
And Harmon's a big guy. He's got a lot of raw power. You could see that in his swing as well. Just a lot of lower body strength. The way he twists his body, the way he just unravels as a baseball player.
A line drive into right field. That one's going to get over the head of Charlie Keller, and it's going to go all the way to the wall. Coming around to score is King. Getting the wave around is Puckett. The throw is offline. Puckett will score, and heading into third is Dawson Harmon. It's a 2 RBI triple for the River Rats, and they take a 2-0 lead.
Fantastically driven by Harmon. Got it opposite field, right in the gap, and of course the throw offline was not, his doing, but the way he was able to place that ball on the warning track between both center and right field, immaculate.
Yeah. Great deal of hitting from Dawson Harmon. Charlie Keller had no chance of getting that one. Harmon able to fight that one off and hit it opposite field. So that will bring up Bruno Schaefer with a runner aboard at third and nobody out, and it's a silent Pat Thomas Stadium with an early 2-0 lead for the River Rats.
Yeah, and as a pitcher, you want to set this tone early. You want to really show these batters what you've got. And I think when you start off on this kind of foot, letting off 2 runs, you hit a guy, it not only shakes your confidence, but it kind of just gives your whole team this weird vibe of, what are we really doing here? And then it gives the opposing team, hey, we can really hit off this guy. These aren't as great. They aren't as great as we thought they were, according to the scouting reports and what we've seen. This guy's shaken up.
Right. See if Josh Cohn can settle in a little bit. Nice breaking ball. Makes it 0-1, and a swing and a miss makes it quickly 0-2. Bruno Schaefer, the batter, number 16, playing first base tonight.
Yeah, Schaefer's hitting .308 for CCF this last season. A guy who could also get on base, really see the ball. I mean, he was seeing it like a beach ball all season. Incredible hitter. I'm noticing a wind blowing kind of from right field and left field. I wonder if that's going to play a factor today. It's not really pushing balls back in, but could mess around with some flyouts.
365 to the corner outfield spots as that one swung on and missed. Cohn gets the first out, takes care of Schaefer, 1 down. And I meant corner outfield, meaning left and right. Center is 365. Down the lines, it's about 340, I do believe, or 330, excuse me. I think 340 to left field, 330 to right field. To dead center, I'd estimate it at about 380, maybe 375. The new batter is Xavier Lopez, the right fielder. He takes a called strike.
Lopez has got 27 bases in 29 games. That's pretty consistent for me, and I think, with a guy on third, you're going to want to get this ball in play, but you also want to set up the next batter to score you.
Ground ball. That one is fair down the first base line. Oh, excuse me. That's a foul ball. The first base umpire is not there, and I assumed that one went right over the bag, but it is foul and a break for Josh Cohn.
It was close.
It was very close.
It was very close.
I think I was mistaken. The first base coach as the umpire. Two very different colors.
He's wearing blue.
Just a 2-man umpire crew. 0-2 is fouled back out of play.
And Xavier's been having some trouble with his timing. He's been very late recently. He's struggling with kind of finding his rhythm here as he moves up through pro ball, or I guess college ball in this term.
0-2 is over the glove of Ledger Pleasant at second base, and it's an RBI single for Xavier Lopez. Now 3-0 River Rats.
Yeah, I think the River Rats picked up on Cohn very early. I'm not sure what they're seeing, but they're seeing it great. And whatever they've got working for them, they got to keep going if they want to keep their momentum going.
So that'll bring up Dawson Mock, another Dawson. He plays left field tonight, lefty batter. That one is up and in for ball 1.
Mock's a guy who didn't get a lot of playing time this year at USF. He transferred up, got a little hurt, came back, made 3 starts, but had 3 hits in those 3 starts, and tallied a triple against Memphis. He's got a lot of power and a lot of speed.
Another nice breaking ball from Josh Cohn. That one seems to be working well for him. Slider or curveball. Makes it 1-1. Cohn not really worrying about the runner aboard at first as that one hits Dawson Mock. Not the worst location from Josh Cohn, but just barely nicks him, and that will prompt a mound visit from Coach Billings, or maybe not. He's going to talk with the home plate umpire. Maybe he thought he leaned in a little bit. Didn't look like it was that close.
Yeah, it's hard. These guys are playing really close to the plate. They're really up in the box. So whether or not he's leaning into it, as long as his foot isn't over that line, I think it's considered a legal move. I think it's more conversating about whether it hit the knob of the bat. It looked like it could have gone foul. You get the noise off the catcher's glove or maybe like an elbow pad. A whole bunch of things start flowing through your mind.
Daniel Spiker, the shortstop, now bats. The 7th batter to come to the plate for the River Rats here in the top of the 1st inning. Still just 1 down. Foul tips that one in the mitt for strike 1.
Pretty nice lead over at 2nd and 1st.
Next offerings fouled straight back our way. No balls, 2 strikes. Cohn's done a good job of getting ahead in counts. Hasn't really gotten behind the hit by pitches, obviously. He was ahead in most of those counts.
Yeah, Cohn's doing nothing wrong here. I mean, look, that's how baseball is. People are going to hit off of you. I think he just got off on the wrong foot. He's really starting to find his rhythm now, really starting to get his command back and see where he wants to put these pitches.
Next one misses just a bit outside. Three hits and 3 runs for the River Rats so far. 3-0 in the top of the 1st inning. Next one from Cohn, and a nice breaking ball takes care of Spiker. That's working really well for him. We'll see if he continues to use it to get the next batter, who will be Anthony Saliba, the catcher.
Next up, the catcher, number 5, Anthony Saliba.
And we talked about this at the top of the show as well. Saliba's a guy who's comfortable in this league. He's been here before. He kind of knows what the competition's like. He's played here. He's played pretty much everywhere in the league, actually. And, you see a lot of consistency out of Saliba. With 2 runners on, I would think he's going to try and poke one in the right center.
He taps this one out to the pitcher. Josh Cohn's going to pick it up, and he'll have to put it in his back pocket. No play there. That one perfectly placed. And Cohn not really knowing if him or Orozco at 3rd would be able to make the play. That was a hit all day.
Yeah, and that's the type of play I just call just baseball. It's a blooper. It's really hard. There's these little pockets on the diamond and even out in the outfield where it's just really hard for a player to get to in time with a runner careening down to first base. And that's just one of those pockets right there. It's right down the line, not too far to where the 3rd baseman can rush in on it, but not so close to where the catcher can get it. And it's right between the pitcher.
Yeah.
It's just baseball.
Nothing you could do about that. That'll bring up Manny Santana, one of the 2 extra hitters, and the 9-hole batter for the River Rats takes a called strike. Another good breaking ball from Cohn. Both outs have been via the swinging strikeout. Santana, another lefty, a good healthy dose of lefties in the lineup for the River Rats. Cohn in a jam, but he does have 2 outs. Almost like damage control here with already 3 runs given up.
Yeah, Cohn's just got to be really selective with what he throws here. You don't want to necessarily get a ball too far in play.
And not so selective as that one's hitting to center field. It's going to score 2 runs. Coming around to 3rd is Anthony Saliba. It's runners at the corner, and a 2 RBI single for Manny Santana makes it 5-0 River Rats.
And as we reach the bottom of this River Rats lineup, you got to start looking at Cohn as the pitching coach. Comes out here, you're looking at Cohn, you're thinking, all right, have we really given you enough chances? It's been only 1 inning, and it's 5-0. That's a pretty hefty lead to let off. If it was 2 runs in the first, maybe I could see how that would be acceptable. But this guy's given an entire lineup of hitters already. We're at the bottom of the River Rats lineup, and he just really hasn't found it.
Coach Billings out there to talk to his left-handed pitcher. Coach Billings is in charge of the pitchers, so him coming out does not mean at all that there will be a pitching change. So we will see him both manage the pitching discussions on the mound and changing the pitching or the pitchers when he needs to come out there. And the bullpen is getting busy. Believe the next pitcher for the Lightning is going to be Henriksen. That is not confirmed, but that was what was on the schedule. That's Carson Henriksen, the sophomore out of Hillsborough Community College. But hopefully Josh Cohn can get out of the first inning with just these 5 runs allowed.
Now here's that 10th man we talked about earlier.
Cooper Pittman, the extra hitter. The 10th batter to come to the plate.
It's a good breaking piece there by Cohn. I'm not sure what coach told him, but I think, in my eyes, it's just relax, you know. You just got to be relaxed on the mound. If you're so stiff and you're thinking about all these things that are going wrong for you, it's going to fog your vision, and it's just only going to make you play worse.
Just missed a bit outside, makes it 1-1. One pitch, same spot, same call. It's a ball outside. 21 strikes, 10 balls. You almost think that he's throwing too many strikes.
You know, I think Cohn may be trying to pitch around the zone, just trying to get these guys to chase. He doesn't want to give them anything they could hit. That was a good breaking piece there, too.
And Cohn making it known that he did not appreciate that call from the home plate umpire, getting a little frustrated out there. It makes it 3-1. That one looked pretty good to me up here.
Yeah, it looks like it just missed the outside of the zone. The umpires will establish their zone later on in the game. You know, you'll really start to know as the runner goes.
The throw down to second is going to get into the outfield. A miscommunication on the cut man. Irizarry bobbles it and will throw it back in. A run will score. That's Anthony Saliba coming in. It's 6-0 River Rats, and nothing going right for the Lightning here. In practices, they practiced that cutoff there, where they'd throw it almost in between the pitching mound and second base, and then throw it right back to home plate. I'm not sure if it was Jenkins or Pleasant who just wasn't on the same page. That ball finds the outfield grass. And Manny Santana, instead of being at second, is now at third base. A tapper here. We'll see if they let it go foul, and they will. That's Orozco at third base. Boy, if that one stayed fair, just so unlucky it would have been for the Lightning.
Just another jam shot, you know, one of those pockets.
A lot of work to do for the Lightning bats when we go to the bottom half of the first inning. The River Rats have done plenty of damage here, with another runner standing 90 feet away. Cohn still working from the stretch. His 0-1, a dribbler. It's going to be Moises, and they're going to have no play. That one gets away again. It's Ledger Pleasant. He might have a play at second base. Here's the tag. He's out. And a good tag by Ryan Jenkins. Moises makes a good throw. But a 7th run comes around for the River Rats on 5 base hits. So the Lightning, a lot of work to do in the bottom half of the first inning. We'll be right back with you with that bottom half. It's 7-0 River Rats. Welcome back. Bottom half of the first inning. In case you missed it, you missed a big first half of this inning. The Sanford River Rats brought 10 batters to the plate. 7 of them came around to score. It's a 7-0 lead for Sanford, and it's going to be Julian Irizarry leading it off for the Lightning.
Yeah, the River Rats were seeing it like a baseball that last inning. I mean, hit after hit, but Leesburg also crumpling under pressure. You know, their defense really was just not locked down.
So the Bats got a lot of work to do, starting with Irizarry, the center fielder, followed by Jenkins and Keller. That's 1, 2, 3. Irizarry, the left-handed batter, facing the righty Jacob Regal. He wheels around the first pitch, and that's a called strike.
Good tone for Regal to set. Regal's, anticipating this moment. He didn't get the start yesterday. He finally got the nod today to start. And against this Leesburg lineup, especially coming off an inning like that, I don't want to harp on the first inning too much, but it boosts your morale as a pitcher to have this big of a pillow, for lack of a better term. Up 7 runs, you have a lot of room to wiggle. If you make a mistake, it's not really going to cost you the whole game.
Irizarry out of the University of Pittsburgh. Starting 11 games this season, misses at that one. 3 pitches takes care of Irizarry, 1 down.
Headed to the plate for the Lightning, it'll be the shortstop, number 1, Ryan Jenkins.
A lot of hometown fans for Ryan here. You hear it in the crowd. It's nice to see their spirit still up, have the team rally behind you.
Yep, Jenkins on the team last year, winning the championship title. Had a .299 batting average. Played really well for Leesburg. That one's a called strike. 30 games played, 26 hits, 20 runs, and 2 doubles. That was for the Lightning last year. 10 runs driven in and a home run. Those bright pink batting gloves. Off-speed pitch misses.
And that was a good pitch to take. It looks like it's going to break in, and a lot of guys would have swung at that, but not him. Jenkins was pretty disciplined up there.
Regal long and lanky up there, the righty. Another breaking ball misses. A good eye by Jenkins.
And Regal's got some good break on that curveball that he keeps throwing. He just got to locate it. It's a release point issue there.
2-1, misses upstairs.
It's a 3-1 count. You're green-lit. You don't want to swing at anything too crazy. You don't want to work yourself full and stress yourself out.
He swings at this one, but sends it fouled down the first baseline.
That was a good pitch to swing at.
Mm-hmm. Three balls, 2 strikes. The pitch swung on and missed. Jenkins, a valiant effort, but he goes down, swinging back-to-back strikeouts for Jacob Regal.
Next up for the Lightning, the right fielder, number 17, Charlie Keller.
Charlie Keller now the batter. Lefty playing in right field tonight. 2 down. In the dirt, ball 1. Wanda Roscoe on deck if we get that far.
Good tempo from Regal there. Good tempo also from the hitter.
Keller hits this one deep into left field. Going back is Dawson Mock, and he is there just shy of the warning track for out number 3. So Regal takes care of the Lightning as they go down 1-2-3. Still a 7-0 score. River Rats lead. Welcome back. Top half of the second inning. And top of the order back up. Cameron King will lead things off like he did just last inning. Nothing doing for the Lightning. They went down quietly 1-2-3. Charlie Keller did give it a ride, but nothing to show for it as Dawson Mock tracked that one down.
Yeah, and, you know, we're still early in this game. You want to see if the River Rats can keep that train going, you know, of just hits on hits on hits. But you also want to see if the defense has made any changes, you know. They just spent a half inning in the dugout. Maybe they're seeing something differently, talking to coach, talking to each other, really getting that chemistry going.
And a reliever still up in the bullpen for the Lightning. I mentioned that it was Carson Herrickson who's listed to be the second pitcher in tonight's game, but of course that's subject to change as that one's nubbed foul. Cone really struggling in the first inning. That breaking ball was looking really nice, but just a lot of solid contact and some weak contact as well that nothing he could do about it. 0-1 in the dirt, and of course a couple hit by pitches don't help. A lot of things just weren't going his way last inning.
Yeah, you know, for Cone, look, the defense, like I said, is making errors. You yourself are making your own personal errors as that one finds the zone for a strike, 1 and 2. You know, you just shrink yourself. You know, you look out, you see all these people watching you. You think, oh man, I threw that ball bad, or I hit this guy, and like I said, it's all rhythmic pitching.
1-2's hit foul. Third base coach makes a nice play over there.
He's a coach for a reason.
Yep. Cone ahead 1-2. King awaiting the pitch. A tapper. Cone spins around, turns, throws, and just in time they get the out. Cone making a really nice play, but a fast-running Cameron King made it close. But in the end, it's one down for the Lightning.
Yeah, Cone's a little slow on that turnaround. He's a tall guy. It just takes him a little bit to get down, you know, and kind of get his body acclimated to throw. Not as agile as some of these smaller players, but he did a nice job of getting that ball over there quick, especially with how fast King is.
Stuart Puckett was hit by a pitch. One of the two batters that was hit last inning came around to score. Was the second run for the River Rats to come around. 6 hits last inning, 7 runs to show for it. Cone delivers a 1-0. Nice breaking ball, 1-1.
Yeah, I think Puckett was a little tripped up at that. You know, it starts at his eye level and then just immediately drops into the zone. That 12-6 is pretty nasty off of Cone. And, you know, he's working his command back. He's really getting his confidence. You could see it.
1 ball, 1 strike. Swung on and missed. Right at that back foot. Tied him up. Cone ahead 1-2. Last inning, Cone was ahead in a lot of the at-bats. The River Rats just finding a way to get around them. The hit by pitches, obviously, and just some base hits and counts that were not in the batter's favor.
Fannels made a barehanded grab out there.
I saw that.
Out of the corner.
Well, he's standing up. He should be ready for one. Anybody listening that is coming to a game in the future, foul balls, you can go take them to the concession stand, get a ticket, and you get a free slushie.
Just missed that pitch, Vic.
Just a bit upstairs from Josh Cone. Cone looks in, gets his sign. Kicks and brings the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Another breaking ball. That one takes care of Stuart Puckett. 2 down. All 3 strikeouts have been swinging strikeouts from Josh Cone. That will bring up Dawson Harmon, the third baseman. He had a 2 RBI triple last inning, and that really got the wheels turning for the River Rats.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy's been electric so far. I think he's coming off hot with that triple, and it's, you know, set a good baseline as a hitter.
Dawson Harmon, really built guy in that right-handed batter's box. 1-0. That's foul.
And they're going to punch him out, Vic. Actually, it looks like the ball fell in front of the plate. That was just a weird Little League error there. The ball just tipped off the bat, and I guess it was fair enough. The catcher picked it up and tagged him out.
Well, I was looking down to try to find out the build for Dawson Harmon, and in the end, it's a 1-2-3 inning for Josh Cohn and the Lightning. Let's see if the Bats can wake up a little bit. 7-0 River Rats lead as we head to the bottom half of the second. Bottom half of the second inning, a much better top half of the inning for Josh Cohn, who sat down the River Rats 1-2-3. A couple strikeouts and one strikeout. A good play by Josh Cohn himself, and then a weird play from Dawson Harmon. Just tapped it right in front of the mound, a fair ball. Wroblewski was able to tag him out for out number 3. That would send us to where we are right now, bottom half of the second. It's Juan Orozco, the cleanup batter for the Lightning, and he plays third base for tonight's game. Taking a look at the rest of the league so far, the DeLand Suns up 5-3 over the Winter Park Diamond Dogs in the bottom of the 6th inning. I'll tell you about the other game after this first pitch from Jacob Riegel. Popped up into shallow left field. Coming on is Dawson Mock, and he'll make the out. One pitch, one down. The Winter Garden squeezed down 2-0 against the Orlando Snappers. And, of course, here the Sanford River Rats up 7-0 against the Leesburg Lightning. Marco Moises, the batter, the lefty, playing first base tonight out of the University of New Orleans. 5'11", 195. One's downstairs from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Played in 16 games this year for the University of New Orleans. 31 at-bats, 9 hits, 290 batting average. So not a lot of playing time, but was very good when he was in. 1-0, just a bit outside.
Yeah, that's the first real big miss we've seen from Riegel tonight. He hasn't missed a ton of pitches outside. And that's the first one we've seen that's really gotten away from him, as he does it twice in a row now.
2 balls, no strikes to Moises. Lightning still looking for their first runner to get aboard. (3-0). A called strike. Moises took a couple steps towards first base. That one looked pretty good. Not sure if he was just trying to convince the umpire that it wasn't a strike.
Yeah, I don't know if that pitch really needed any convincing. It was pretty in the zone, but, you know, sometimes players just get kind of caught in their own rhythm.
3-1, pops this one up. The shortstop Spiker is under it. And he makes the grab for out number 2. So it was once a 3-0 count, ends up in a pop fly to the shortstop, and that will bring up TJ Sokras. Sokras out of the University of Pittsburgh. Right-handed pitcher and an infielder. First pitch to the righty. Buzzes the tower a little bit for ball 1. 10 appearances as a pitcher this year, this past spring. 11 innings pitched, 9 hits, 10 earned runs, but did not hit for the Panthers. 1-0 misses. Quickly 2 outs. Regal has done a good job of sitting down lightning batters, the 5 that he's faced so far. On deck is returner Riley Fitzgerald. 2-0 is a called strike. A groan from this Lightning crowd.
Yeah, they're really into this game. You know, even down 7-0, still really into this game.
2-1 is foul tipped. It'll make it 2-2. Deuces Wild at Pat Thomas Stadium for a rescheduled opening night. All 6 teams playing tonight. Winter Park is hosting. The Orlando Snappers are hosting.
4-0 now, that game. The Orlando Snappers.
2-2 on the way. Called strike 3. Sokras had to look back at the umpire, but that will end the bottom half of the second inning. Another 1-2-3 inning for Jacob Regal. We head to the top half of the third inning. Still 7-0 lead for the River Rats. Into the top half of the third inning, still a 7-0 lead for the River Rats. Josh Cohn is back out there. He will face 4, 5, and 6 due up for the River Rats.
You know, Cohn's running out of chances to really make it through this game. If he doesn't get out of this inning very quickly and efficiently, I think this might be the last we see of him.
Batter Bruno Schaefer takes a big cut and miss at that one. He struck out swinging in his first at bat back in the first inning. He was Cohn's first victim, first of 3. Sun's starting to set here in Leesburg. Cohn still working from the stretch. The 0-1 swung on and missed. It's almost like a changeup tailing away from Bruno Schaefer, the batter.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just getting them to chase is how you're really going to beat this River Rats team. You know, they're going to hit whatever's in the zone. You just got to get them to chase.
No balls, 2 strikes. Next one's in the dirt. Some score updates. DeLand Suns now only leading 5-4 over the Winter Park Diamond Dogs. And the Orlando Snappers now up 4-0 over the Winter Garden Squeeze. And we're still at a 7-0 stalemate. 1-2 misses outside.
It's so interesting to see, opening day for everybody today. It was supposed to just be Sanford Leesburg yesterday, but everybody comes together now. They're all playing their games. You get a first look at who's going to actually be good this season, what the season's going to look like for some of these teams.
2-2, ground ball out to Jenkins. The shortstop throws across the diamond, and it's picked off the ground by Moises at first base. 1 down. Good to see Jenkins make that play. Another low throw, but Moises able to grab that just before it hit the dirt.
Yeah, I think it was a good pick by the first baseman there. He was struggling with that earlier, just getting these balls out of the dirt, and it's really nice to see him kind of get a hold of one.
The new batter, Xavier Lopez, had an RBI single back in the first inning, and he came around to score after that. Foul tips at that, 0-1. Two errors back in the first inning for the Lightning. So it was the 2 errors, the 2 hit by pitches, and some solid contact from the River Rats, and that's why we stand at 7-0. 0-1 fouled back our way. Cone, despite the rough start, you got to give it to him. He has done a great job of getting ahead of batters. It is just the closing out part that has been tough for him.
Yeah, you set the tone really quickly in the at-bat, but it seems like once the hitter actually knows what he's throwing and gets his rhythm, it's really hard for them to close it out because they know exactly what's coming next.
No balls, 2 strikes. Cone. The offering is in the dirt. The Lightning reliever is still out there in the bullpen, has stopped throwing. Going to let Cone try to settle down a little bit. Maybe get him through this inning and maybe another. See if the bats can go to work in the bottom half. 1-2. Just misses.
And you can see Lopez, he's really unfazed. Even though he was down in this count, now the count's all rounded off. He's very confident up there still.
2-2 is hit well into right field, but it'll hang up for Charlie Keller. Ranges to his right and makes the grab for out number 2. Now Dawson Mock, the left-handed batter, will try to keep the inning going for the Sanford River Rats. He was hit by a pitch, the second victim of the hit by pitch from Josh Cone. He also came around to score.
Yeah, Mock's having a pretty good night tonight. He's made a great play out in left field. Came around to score, like you said, had a couple hits. He's really getting his confidence up here, and you like to see that.
First one was a strike from Josh Cone. 0-1 ground ball foul. Down the first base line, Moises had it. Big crowd here in Leesburg, and it's what has been expected for the many years this team has been around. 19th season for the Lightning, and at least 500, 600 people here is from what I'm hearing.
Mock Seeger get a hit. You get walked your first at bat, and you're like, okay, but you're here to hit.
0-2. Can't hit with that one. That one's in the dirt. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 down for Josh Cone and the Lightning. Looking for another 1-2-3 inning. The pitch swung on and hit well into the right center field. That one is going to get down, and it might be a 2-bagger for Dawson Mock, and it will be. Julian Irizarry cuts it off, but before he can throw it in, Irizarry cruising into second base for a 2-out double.
Yeah, he almost lost his balance out there. You almost run out of your legs. You're running for first, and you're focused on only touching first. You see that ball drop, in the gap in the outfield, and you're like, oh, man, I should probably make my left turn now. Make the left turn. You got to shift your balance, and that's going to throw you off your pedaling a little bit. That's why you see guys stumble around first sometimes.
Totally forgot to mention the chicken toss in between innings. We had a young fan make all 4 in a row, and that one gets away, and they might call obstruction now. And I was looking at you trying to describe that story.
It was a good story, but yeah, you're right. It looks like he ran into the third baseman.
He's trying to get to third base, and I guess they're going to declare that Josh Cohn was on the mound ready to go. Looked down twice now, and a lot has happened. That play last inning with Dawson Harmon getting tagged out by Wroblewski at home plate.
That's the second kind of odd baseball play we've seen tonight with the River Rats involved. And it's nothing really to do with baseball IQ. It's just been weird situations they've been finding themselves in.
So Cohn will throw it back to first base. I think they're just checking to see if he didn't touch first base after that double, and now Coach Billings is going to have a talk with the home plate umpire. I guess that's what it'd be, because you talked about the stumble around first base. I'm guessing they threw it over there to say that he didn't touch first, and of course he would be out after that just happened, the throw to first base from Josh Cohn.
Yeah, small little discrepancies like that can really change the course of an at-bat, or I guess in this case, a play. From my point of view, we're too far away to really tell if he actually touched the bag. That's an umpire's discretion thing. Every umpire has a different view on it. And it'll all come down to whether or not this discussion's actually, flavorful down here, or if it's, something that's going to be productive.
And Billings pretty animated out there. You can see he's really pleading his case to the umpire. And I'll tell you, it doesn't really help that there's only 2 umpires in this game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The second base umpire is mainly in charge of making sure that the base calls are made correctly, but he's also got to set himself up to watch third and second with the throwdown and the attempt to steal. He's not necessarily paying attention to first base in this situation, especially with, a double like that.
So nothing has changed. The runner, Dawson Mock, remains at second base. The throw to first didn't do anything. The new batter, Daniel Spiker, struck out swinging in his first at-bat. That one's a called strike. And Mock's double ruins the 1-2-3 opportunity for Cohn. You got to think with this pitch count going up, it might be his last inning here. Next one's fouled back.
Just off the tip of the bat. He was eager to hit that one. The ball broke right in front of the bat, and that's why he tipped off of it.
No balls, 2 strikes. Cohn once again ahead on the Sanford River Rats bats. 0-2 offering, just a bit outside. Cohn quickly ready again, takes a look at second base. Dawson Mock not moving. Next one, a ground ball towards third and just past the glove of Orozco. Getting the wave around his Mock. Here comes the throw. It's a good one, but it's going to be too late, and it gets by the catcher. Heading into second base is Daniel Spiker, and the Rats add to their lead. It's now 8-0.
Yeah, look, Mock got in the way of that one again. Not to his fault. He's trucking around third. He's really just trying to score, and the pitcher just happened to be right there. I don't think there was anything intentional about that at all.
Nah, definitely not.
But coach is unhappy with it, or maybe unhappy with something that Cohn has now done. He's going to come out here again.
Yeah, this looks like it's about Cohn, and he's going to call on the bullpen. So Josh Cohn, unfortunately, not able to get out of the third inning. Sat down his first 2 batters, no problem, then ran into some trouble. Dawson Mock a double, and Daniel Spiker just now driving him in with an RBI single. We'll take a break, and we'll bring you the new Lightning pitcher once we come back. 8-0 River Rats lead. Welcome back to the top half of the third inning. Josh Cohn is out. Blake Tipmore is in. He is a returner for the Lightning. Back in 2023, was 1-1 in 10 games, 14 innings pitched, 14 hits given up, and 8 earned runs. He's out of Rollins College. Right-handed pitcher, standing at 6'2", 210, out of Wellington, Florida. He will face Anthony Saliba, the catcher, with a runner aboard at second base in the form of Daniel Spiker, as that first one is in there called strike.
And a new pitcher is almost a new slate, for both teams. Now the River Rats have to readjust and kind of learn about this pitcher. You don't really know anything about him, at least at this season. So they're going to have to reset and really refocus themselves. They were so used to Cohn, and now they got to get used to Tipmore.
The righty replaces the lefty, Josh Cohn. 0-1, foul tipped, quickly makes it 0-2. Cohn sat down Schaefer and Lopez, no problem, a ground out and a fly out. Dawson Mock then had a double into right center field, and Daniel Spiker brought him in with an RBI base hit. Like Cohn, Tipmore ahead. Cohn was ahead in a lot of the counts. Now Tipmore's turn. 0-2, called strike 3. And just 3 pitches takes care of Anthony Saliba. The Lightning head into the bottom half of the third inning with an 8-0 lead for the River Rats. Bottom half of the third inning, joined by a special guest here. Sean Naylor was the communications intern like myself back in 2015, but it was a little bit different back then. So tell me about that.
Yeah, it definitely was. So we had the broadcast covered. So me as a journalism intern, that's strictly what I focused on, that and social media throughout the game. So cover the Lightning throughout the entire season.
Awesome. And, well, the biggest question, what have you been doing since then?
So I work for the federal government back home in Pennsylvania. And I've kind of bounced around a little bit in the SID world, Sports Information Director, as well as radio and TV.
Awesome. Have you kept up with the Lightning at all, a little bit here and there?
I certainly have, yep. And Jack, the stat man here, him and I talk quite a bit throughout the season.
So leading it off is Riley Fitzgerald. He's the extra hitter. And when you were around, was Pat Thomas this rowdy, and was it this energetic?
Pat Thomas has always been this rowdy. Yeah, it's definitely a fan-friendly community atmosphere.
The first one's fouled away. I mean, this is at least 500-600 fans here, and I'm sure that you sitting right in front of us, you got to be right next to these fans.
Yes, definitely. I mean, and there were a ton of stories to tell about the fans throughout the season.
0-1 to Fitzgerald is in the dirt. Makes it 1-1. And remind me, you're living where exactly again?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Wow,
Yep.
So long trip. What brought you down here?
So one of the biggest things was the 10-year anniversary, getting my family down here to see the Lightning.
1-1, hit up the middle. Cutting it off is Pleasant. He'll throw to first, and it's not in time. The Lightning have their first base hit of the summer.
And then, most importantly, we have a 4-year-old daughter, so we were able to go. We're going to Disney World here for 2 days, so you get the best of both worlds.
That's awesome. And you're just here for this one game, or are you going to be here for tomorrow?
Yeah, so my wife and I will be coming up tomorrow to see the Lightning play.
Awesome,
So.
awesome. That's great. Have you been to Leesburg since 2015?
I stopped in 2017, and Florida weather, we unfortunately got rained out.
Oh, the game got rained out.
This is the first time back in Pat Thomas for
That's
10 years.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't choose to go to Sanford yesterday because that one was rained out.
Yes.
Batter is Eli Thurman, and we're just in the third inning here. This is the first at bat for Fitzgerald, Thurman, and Pleasant, who's on deck. Their first crack at Jacob Riegel. Excuse me, that was Stuart Puckett cutting it off with our new guest in here. I forgot to flip over the page a little bit. So Riley Fitzgerald aboard at first base. Eli Thurman now at the plate. And you said you didn't have really experience calling any games, but if this was an opportunity where you get to call games, would that be something that interested you back in 2015?
Yeah, so I had one opportunity when they played Altamont Spring Boom, to kind of go back and forth.
Swing and a miss there by Eli Thurman. And 2015, actually, we can look at it right here, thanks to our stats man, Jack Mayer over here. We call him Stats. The whole team calls him Stats, and he has compiled the greatest set of stats that I've ever seen in my entire life. That includes the MLB as well. 1-2, a chopper out to short. Spiker going to throw to second. No, he's not. Couldn't get out of his glove. And in there safely is Ryan Fitzgerald. 2 aboard and nobody out for the 8-hole hitter Ledger Pleasant. So back in 2015, the Lightning finished 22-19 in the regular season, and they were 2-1 in the playoffs, and that was not a year they won this.
No, and that was a really, really great year. They played 2 games against the Altamont Springs Boom. They won over in their park in the 10th inning. Josh Pallier hit a single there to score, and then we had a 2-run double by Gustavo Rios in the bottom of the 8th here at Pat Thomas, and they shut them down in the 9th, and unfortunately lost to Sanford 1-0 over at the Trop in the championship.
Wow, yeah, I did see that they used to play the championships at the Trop. That is an amazing experience, I'm sure, going out there.
That was definitely a really cool environment, for us as interns, as well as most importantly here for the players.
Now championships are just played at the home team's ballpark, whoever has the higher seed. 0-1 to Pleasant, it's a called strike. Quickly 0-2 from Riegel, who's got traffic on the bases early.
Yeah, and then one thing there with the players playing at home, in the playoffs and the championship, it really brings that that fan atmosphere. You see 500-600 individuals here at Pat Thomas, and imagine this playoff atmosphere. It's nothing like it.
Right. Quickly 0-2, the pitch to Pleasant. That one's in the dirt. Barely gets away. They'll throw back to first, and not in time. Luckily, Eli Thurman able to get back safely. He wasn't sure if Fitzgerald was going to head to third, so he took a big second step, but he's in there safely. Now 1-2's the count.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see here some runners on base here for the Lightning. They're starting to get something going, something picking up a little bit.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Riegel takes a look at second. Now the offering, swung on and missed. A nice breaking ball takes care of Pleasant. 1 down in the third. And back in 2015, was it a really big pitching squad, or was the bats were really big for them?
It was a mixture. I was actually looking at my past recaps, it was an up and down season. They had a couple highs, they had a couple lows, and come playoff time, they really turned it on. But they were really deep pitching wise, and then got the timely hits when they needed to. It seems like throughout the season.
Sanford River Rats were at the top of the standings that year. That one is a called strike. The batter, Nick Wroblewski, the catcher, finished with a overall record of 29-14, a regular season record of 26-13, and more games were played back then in 2015. So obviously that has to do with rainouts and stuff like that. But was rain a big factor when you were here?
Rain was, and it seems like every time in the summer here, there's a couple of rainouts. The one thing with Coach Billings is he really ensured that the pitching depth was there, and he was rotating these guys in every couple of innings to ensure that he had fresh arms, and that's kind of led to the success that the Lightning have had over the past couple years.
Wroblewski waiting on a 1-1 pitch. Here it is, and it's just a bit outside. Billings been with the team. This is his 11th season, so that was his second or first season?
I believe it was his First, yep.
Okay, first season with the Lightning. And when I talked to them on the phone, I couldn't believe how young he was, because I know he has a kid, and obviously his dad is very young, coach. But even back then, I'm sure a younger head coach, kind of like Tanner Clark is right now. 2-1 misses inside.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Coach Billings, being at the JUCO level when it comes to baseball, these guys have a lot of contacts, a lot of connections. So he's able to really bring a solid squad made up of local kids as well as some individuals like the 2 players from University of Pittsburgh.
3 balls, 1 strike. Hitters count for Wroblewski. The pitch, that one's upstairs, and it's the bases full of Lightning with just 1 down, and the top of the order due up. Now, besides Pat Thomas, of course, what were some of your favorite stadiums to go to?
So the state Sanford is always a cool stadium. The stadium where Stetson plays their home games, I believe that's where DeLand plays. That was really cool. And as a journalism intern, kind of being able to sit in that press box, was really a neat opportunity. But again, nothing really beats the atmosphere at Pat Thomas. The fans here, we have the lake back there. It's really a great environment to watch a baseball game.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the lake behind the scoreboard out in right field. Of course, it takes a lot to hit one out there, but maybe a good bounce and a nice roll would find its way out there, but it's nothing like San Francisco, the Giants, and of course the Allegheny. But it is nice to see the lake out there, and honestly wish, besides the heat, wish we could have more day games.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that would definitely bring a different environment here to Pat Thomas.
Julian Irizarry, the leadoff batter for the Lightning, struck out swinging back in the first inning. And he gets another crack at Jacob Riegel. Now with the bases loaded. Dawson Harmon, the third baseman, up on the edge of the grass. Everyone back in normal depth. First pitch, poked out in the left field, down for a base hit. Fitzgerald will score. Coming around, Eli Thurman. He'll get the stop sign, but that ball gets away. Thurman gonna come around. Here's the throw. He is safe. Thurman scores. The Lightning on the board, 8-2. And just like that, the Lightning bats coming alive here. Irizarry, after striking out, gets a 2 RBI single, and he advances his way to second base. And I think it was a wise decision by Tanner Clark over there to hold Eli Thurman at first.
It definitely was, yep.
That ball not anywhere close to the catcher, Anthony Saliba, and Eli Thurman, after breaking back to third, was able to score in a really close play at home plate. I think Jacob Riegel, the pitcher, really wanted that call to go the other way, and it was really bang, bang.
Yeah, it seems like he definitely just squeaked his foot in there.
Still just 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position. The batter is Ryan Jenkins, a returner for the Lightning. And this crowd would go wild if he could get a hold of one here.
It definitely would. And back in 2015, we had a couple returners from the 2014-15 squad, so it's nice that the fans are able to see those individuals for more than 1 year.
1-0 misses downstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. Ryan Jenkins with those pink batting gloves. Talk about distracting the pitcher, or trying to do so. 2-0 from Riegel. Ground ball out to short. Spiker has it. The throw is in time for the second out, but a run will come across to score. That is Nick Wroblewski, the catcher, and moving to third base is Julian Irizarry, as he was at second base after that throw got away.
Yeah, you look at those. You mentioned the pink batting gloves, and it really just shows these individuals are all from across the country coming over to play summer ball here down in Florida, and it's really a great opportunity for those individuals to just continue to playing the game they love.
Lightning have 3 runs that they just got back against the River Rats as a called strike onto Charlie Keller. So mark that as 6-3 put out, but an RBI for Jenkins, first one of the season. Oh, 1, that gets away. Irizarry broke for home and then quickly scampered back to third base. So Irizarry still at third now. Probably a wise decision. That ball didn't get too away from the catcher, Anthony Saliba. And talk about a big backstop that we have here. I mean, it's so far from the first row stands. 1-1 is low.
Yeah, definitely, and it's really, it really puts the emphasis on having a solid catcher or a solid backup catcher there to ensure that there aren't as many pass balls and giving up those free bases.
2 balls, 1 strike for Charlie Keller, the big lefty, awaiting, and that one is upstairs. 3-1 count. Regal running into some issues here against the Lightning lineup. A base hit from Fitzgerald, followed by another base hit from Thurman. Wroblewski walked, loaded the bases, and Irizarry, the 2 RBI single. 3-1 is a called strike. And when you were here, what year were you going into for school?
I had just graduated from college.
Okay.
Yep.
Payoff pitch is outside, ball 4. The inning continues, and Regal visibly frustrated out there on the mound. And so I'm sure that right after college, this is a great start to, kind of propel your actual career.
Yes, yeah, it definitely was. It was one of those things where, I looked all across the country for some kind of journalism-type baseball internship, came across the Florida League, and, everything I learned here kind of propelled me into the next thing, being an SID, and then kind of got into the news writing and ending up where I am within as a communications officer, writing different articles, announcements, covering, different events and so forth. So it's definitely a good stepping stone, any opportunity like this for sure.
Definitely, great opportunity. And Juan Orozco, speaking of great opportunity, has one here with runners at the corners, but 2 outs. First pitch he sees misses, the breaking ball. Flew out in the second inning to the left fielder, Dawson Mock. The Lightning have brought 3 around to score, but are threatening with 2 on the base pass. Next one's popped up into shallow center field. Cameron King breaking in, and he has that one for out number 3. But the Lightning do some damage. 3 runs on 3 base hits, and it's an 8-3 lead for the Sanford River Rats. And Sean, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you coming down here, and we'll see you for the rest of this game. We'll see you tomorrow, too.
Yep, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great summer.
You too. Welcome back. Top half of the fourth inning. The Lightning get 3 runs back, and now with some play-by-play, here's Christian Boussier.
Yeah, thank you, Vic. Look, I will try to take your job here, of course. So leading things off will be Manny Santana. Santana, reached on a single his last time up, and he's looking for another hit here as Leesburg goes to answer back, make it 8-3, so only a 5-run ball game now, but Sanford doesn't want to get too comfortable. As the first offering from Tipmore is underway. Just missed outside for a ball, and Tipmore is still trying to find his rhythm here, Vic. I think his first appearance here for Leesburg is not under the best circumstances.
Not at all. Came in with a tough situation last inning. Couple runners on the base pass, but 3 pitches took care of Anthony Saliba, and he got him looking. And now it's to settle in. No outs, nobody on base, just a clean slate, like you said last inning, and of course some run support now, and it's just got to keep the Rats at bay.
So with that, the 2-0 to Santana finds the zone for a strike.
Biggest thing for Tipmore, just stay ahead like Cone was, and just try to put these Rats away, because being ahead in the count doesn't really mean much right now.
2-1 pitch. Ooh. Oh, and that's going to get him on the thigh there. And it's another hit by pitch for Leesburg. They seem to be hitting them all around. So Santana will reach first and bring up Pittman.
Yeah, 3rd hit by pitch from a Lightning pitcher, 2 by Cone, and now the 1 by Tipmore. That's just not going to work if you're trying to keep this 5-run lead for the River Rats.
Pittman comes up with a ground out. His last time up back in the first inning, of course, a pretty electric inning for the River Rats, and he has that momentum going, but he's been sitting now. It's the 4th inning. It's been 3 innings. He shows bunt. The corner's going to come in, but they try and tag him out, and he's safe. That right there kind of shows baseball IQ. He's stranded off the bag. The first baseman's covering. He doesn't even realize, and, it becomes a sort of mix-up.
It's where the first base coach has to play a super important role, making sure that runner knows to get back.
0-1 from the stretch. Take it for strike 2. And so Tipmore works him with an 0-2 count now. Finally starting off an at-bat on the right foot. You don't want to start him off with a ball, of course. Gives him kind of a bigger head in the at-bat. And now 0-2 with a runner on first, who's not really trailing off the bag, playing it pretty safe. The next offering is swung on and missed. And Tipmore gets his first strikeout this inning.
2nd strikeout total for Tipmore. Back-to-back, actually. That's how he ended last inning. 2 batters faced, 2 strikeouts. 3 batters faced. Of course, that hit by pitch in between. But both outs have come via the strikeout. 1 swinging, 1 looking.
King has a walk and a strikeout to his name, so he'll come up eager to hit once again with a runner on first. His first pitch finds the zone for strike 1. And King's a guy who sees a lot of pitches, a very fast guy. Of course, we talked about that earlier, but King is the type of ball player who also kind of has this ego to him a little bit, as the runner slides off first and won't run. Meanwhile, he swings through and makes it 0-2. King knows he's a pretty hot player, and I think that shows in his kind of demeanor on the field. With the 0-2 delivery now, Tipmore taking his time, now kicks and deals. Swung on, a little grounder, blooper to second. It's going to be a close play at first. He can't come up with it, and it finds its way into right.
Yeah, Ledger Pleasant over there at second base. Just trickled right under his glove. It would have been really close at first base. I would have liked to think he would have made the play, but it will go down as an E4, and luckily that ball didn't get too far away from him, or we would have seen Manny Santana head to third base.
And Santana's sneaky fast, too. You don't want to let Santana get away with too much, because he could end up at home if a ball really gets out of the way. Meanwhile, Puckett comes up, who also struck out his last time in the second inning. First offering to Puckett is going to be taken upstairs for a ball.
Tipmore, no stranger so far to traffic on the base pass. Came in last inning with a runner aboard.
And he seemed to get out of it pretty well these last couple times. Again, Sanford has not scored since an inning ago, as that's grabbed the second. He'll try again, flip the second for one, over the first for the double play. It's going to be tight, and they got him. And they get out of the inning. Tipmore survives. We're back in just a moment. And we welcome you back to the bottom of the 4th inning. New pitcher on the mound, Brady Wright, out of Santa Fe College, 13 appearances, got a 1-0 record and a 10.38 ERA, so still looking to really find his gumption as a pitcher.
Gumption.
Gumption.
I like that. I like
That's a good vocab word. You know, I learned that back in like 5th grade, I think it was.
5th grade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've totally heard of that, actually.
And so we'll start him off 0-1. They ended with a fly out and now runs it 1-1 to Musis. Musis, you know, he hasn't seen a lot of pitches. He's now seen his 2nd new pitcher of the night. That affects him in a way, you know, you got to readapt. 1-1. He was green lit and he swings through it. Call it 1-2 now.
Yeah, Moises fly out to the shortstop back in the 2nd inning. It's on the first couple of pitches.
Moises with the 1-2, the kick and deal. Swung on and hit the other way and foul. Good distance, good bat speed on that one, but he just didn't have the timing. Evens out the count. Next offering. Ooh, check swing. It got away from the catcher. Now it evens out the count, 2-2.
Interesting, a check swing, and they have to check down to the first base line for a lefty batter. Not sure how he would have any view of that at all. Might as well let the home plate umpire decide that.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, with the 2 umpire crew. That pitch is crushed up the middle and past the shortstop. He'll reach first as that ball finds its way into center field.
Another good deal of hitting for the Lightning bats. Obviously a different pitcher, but just starting to see the ball a little bit better. Coming into the first game, my prediction yesterday before we got rained out, I was thinking a low-scoring game, maybe 3-2. So after the first inning, I was super shocked to see the Rats bats just do a really good job of getting a hold of Josh Cohn early in the game, and now the Lightning bats starting to wake up here as well.
It almost looks like Leesburg is capitalizing on the fact that the River Rats pitching staff is a little lower in stamina tonight. You know, they're kind of pitching everybody, and I think they're capitalizing on just the lack of energy. That was the 0-1.
Looking across the league, the Diamond Dogs tying the Suns right now, 5-5. That's in the top of the 9th inning.
Next offering is swung on and missed for strike number 2.
Orlando Snappers now up 7-0 over the Winter Garden Squeeze. Looked a lot like this ball game just a couple innings ago. So some high-scoring games.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of good talent across the league and a lot of great ball games as the 0-2 delivery is on the way. A breaking ball swung on and missed and got him.
Totally fooled Sokros there on 3 straight pitches. Just looked very uncomfortable.
Sokros goes 0 for 2 today as he walks off, and he doesn't look very happy.
Not at all. One looking, one swinging. The Pitt Panther has seen a lot of D1 competition, I'm sure. Hasn't really hit much or gotten the chance to hit much.
Fitzgerald settles in now, still a man on first as they throw over. Just taking his time, really making sure he got that ball on him.
Just a really risky throw down by Saliba there. I know that Moises is way off the bag, but by the time that ball was out of his hands, Moises was already diving back, and you never know, that ball gets in the outfield, and Moises might be at third base.
1-0, swung on and got him again with the breaking ball off speed. Evens out the count, 1-1 now for Fitzgerald.
Funky swing, looked like he was looking for the fastball, and was totally fooled.
Yeah, and like we said at the top of the show, this is a team, the River Rats, that really struggled with pitching. I mean, they had a 19-0 game. They were completely blown out last season, and that was just based on pitching alone. They didn't make any errors. And now this team seems to be a little better pitching. I think if they get that bullpen down and really start to get these relievers moving for them, it's when they're going to really start to excel. 1-1, runner goes. It's hit right back to short. He's got to make a move on it. Long throw to first. The runner will be safe at second.
A really good play by Spiker over there at short.
Yeah, Spiker had a good glove on it. He was very quick. Good thought process. You know, the runner's already second. You don't want to waste that throw over there. So they got the put out at first.
A good job by Bruno Schaefer, able to hold the bag. But like you said, also out of the corner of his eye, Spiker able to see that Moises was heading into second base, and there's no chance of getting him.
So Thurman, who singled his last time up, gets back in the box again. And a 1-0 count with 2 away, and now a runner on second. So they're slowly inching up in this game. And it's really exciting to see them have their bats come alive as he swings through the off-speed 1-1. The River Rats really looking to emphasize on throwing strikes and keeping their confidence high on the mound. That pitch just misses low and away for ball 2. The first practice, the assistant coach Nick Goody actually brought out a notebook and said, everybody write down your name and tell me your goal. And at the end of the season, we'll benchmark your goal. And it's just a way of seeing them kind of build the team morale, build a relationship with the coaches. And, you know, setting goals at the beginning of the season is something that I think every player should do and probably does do.
Yeah, the season's all about growth and getting better as a player and a person.
He misses the 3-1 and walks him. So Thurman reaches on a 5-pitch walk. Brings up Pleasant, who hasn't had much of a pleasant night, to be honest. He's struck out his last time up.
And that error last inning as well trickled under his glove, would have had an out. Luckily, it didn't result in a run scored, but a chance to make up for it here with the runner at scoring position.
First offering to Pleasant. Swung through and missed. Strike 1.
He's got to try to meet that ball out where it is. Started on the middle half of the plate, ended on the outer half. He's really got to lean into that, try to poke it out into right field, and kind of the same deal there.
Next offering was a swinging strike. Call it 0-2 now. Still 2 away. And, you know, if you're right, you're just trying to get out of this inning. You're just put into the game. You're trying to close this inning and stop any damage. But so far he's let off 2 hits as that ball gets away and makes it 1-2. He's got 2 runners on, excuse me, not hits. He's got 2 runners on, but
right.
Still got to limit the damage.
Pleasant redshirted this year, I do believe, at St. John's River State College.
Again, that ball gets away from him.
Did not receive playing time. I guess I shouldn't say that he redshirted. That's not confirmed, but I would imagine with no playing time. So, you know, like Coach Billings said, a chance for a lot of playing time for a lot of players on this team.
2-2. Just misses outside. That was a close call there.
You see Brady Wright kind of spun around and was expecting the strike 3 call when he turned back around to see the home plate umpire and instead was met with nothing.
So now 2 on, 2 away. Here comes the 3-2 payoff delivery. Runners go swinging through and got him to get out of the inning. So Wright comes in a high-pressure situation, and out of pressure cooker he goes. We lead you into the top of the 5th. Vic, thanks for having me hang out. You can take it away from here.
Thank you. So we enter the 5th inning. It's Dawson Harmon due up. After him, Bruno Schaefer, then Xavier Lopez. Titmore still on the hill for the Lightning. First pitch almost hits him.
He's looking for a fastball right here. A little outside. That's what he got, but he didn't swing at it.
Pretty much what you just called, but yeah, you're right. Held back. I think Titmore was probably tipping his cap at that because that was right down Broadway. 1-1.
Ooh, just a little outside. That breaking ball really got away from him.
2 balls, 1 strike for Titmore.
Titmore really taking his time now. I think he slowed the game down a little bit, and that's helping him with his actual pitching tempo.
Dawson Harmon takes a big cut and a miss at that one. Makes it 2-2. Friday night under the lights here at Pat Thomas Stadium.
Nobody's left. The fans are really loyal through the entire, rough first half of this game for Leesburg. Everybody stayed, and that shows good faith in their team.
Absolutely. This game is not completely out of reach. Now a 5-run lead for the River Rats, but the Lightning have showed that they can get runners aboard. Just a matter of getting more in. Count runs full. Payoff. Called strike 3. Have a seat. Dawson Harmon down on strikes. 1 down in the 5th.
Yeah, that was a tough pitch to look at. As a hitter, you want to get those hanging curveballs, and I think it just didn't break in his favor. He was really looking eye level at it, and then it just drops into the zone.
Next up, number 16, Bruno Schaefer.
Some scoring updates. The DeLand Suns take an 8-5 lead over the Diamond Dogs in the top of the 9th inning. That's still going on. First pitch swung on and missed by Bruno Schaefer. Titmore giving a little extra gas. Over in Orlando, the Snappers up over the Winter Garden Squeeze, 7-0 still. That's in the top of the 5th inning.
0-0, he got the green light. Yeah.
Swung on and missed again. On the outside part of the plate, Bruno Schaefer quickly down 0-2.
Yeah, usually 0-1, that pitcher's going to set up at the fastball, and he threw him the off-speed, really threw him off there. I mean, he was swinging kind of out of his shoes, a little off balance there.
0-2 on the way is in the dirt. Schaefer struck out in his first at bat and grounded out to Ryan Jenkins at shortstop. Titmore comes set, just like Josh Cohn working out of the stretch despite no one on. 1-2, ground ball out to third. Orozco deep in the hole and makes a strong throw for out number 2. That was his first chance to make a play, and he makes a great throw. 2 down.
You like to see a third baseman with a range like that. You see it out of Arenado and Machado and the bigs, but to make a throw from that corner, people really underestimate how long that throw actually is.
Absolutely. It is a long throw, and I could speak from experience. Not here in Leesburg, of course, but back when I was playing. That's why they stuck me over there at second base. A much more manageable throw for me. Not saying I couldn't do it. Xavier Lopez bats with 2 outs.
I think you could do it.
I think I could now. I just threw the other day, so my arm is really sore, but you give me some time to warm up. Maybe an energy drink or 2. 1-0 upstairs. I've told Coach Billings I've got my glove in the car. If a player goes down, I'm right next to our to stats, as we call them, and he can throw me on that roster real quick and have me out there in the next inning.
Isn't that a broadcaster's dream? Just whole team to get wiped out, you go out there and take it over, really show them how athletic we are.
Certainly is my dream, as that one misses, I believe, inside, and a groan from the Lightning fans. The count is now 3-0, and Lopez quickly ahead. Nowhere near misses upstairs. A 2-out walk for Lopez will bring up Dawson Mock, who has been aboard twice. A hit by pitch and a double back in the 3rd inning.
That's the 2nd walk for Titmore, too. And he's showing really good signs of promise. I think 2 walks compared to how, Cohn started is great improvement out of the bullpen for Leesburg.
Yeah, his last one was the hit by pitch, and that's the first base on balls from a Lightning pitcher, so that's a good sign. The first one misses to Mock. Mock, the left fielder, has been somewhat busy out there.
Yeah, you could say so. I mean, he's had a lot of action, and he's one of those outfielders that really ranges to his left and right, more so to his left in this case, as they've been really pulling them. A lot of right-handed hitters on Leesburg.
Another one misses upstairs. Titmore going to take a walk around the mound, collect himself. After the 4-pitch walk, back-to-back balls. That's 6 in a row from him.
Full count. He's looking for a green light here.
Another one misses. That's 3-0. Titmore with 2 outs. Just needs something on the ground or in the air, and going to get neither. Another walk. A 4-pitch walk, back-to-back of those. And with 2 outs, definitely not what you want to see, and it'll bring up Daniel Spiker.
Yeah, Spiker had an RBI earlier in the game. That kind of got things going for the Riverettes, too, added on to that score. But now he's been sitting kind of stagnant for a couple innings. You have to see if that energy stays up as they meet with Titmore.
Yeah, Wroblewski had a talk with him out there. And there's not much to say. Titmore's looked really good. He's been getting ahead of batters. And same went for Josh Cohn, was getting ahead of batters. Those are the only base on balls that we've seen today besides the hit by pitches. So definitely an uncharted territory for the Lightning pitcher so far here. See if he can find the zone, and he does. A strike onto Spiker, who's struck out. And he's had that RBI single you were talking about back in the third. Still plenty of ball game left. Plenty of time for the Rats to add on to their lead and for the Lightning to try and come back. Ground ball out to second. Pleasant has it this time, and the throw to first is in time for out number 3. So 2 are left stranded for the River Rats. Titmore gets out of a 2-runner aboard jam, and we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Still 8-3 River Rats.